dismissed, but the cases have already been formally accused by the Solicitor General's office and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say in your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding. This particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this. When I ask if you understand your rights, those are the rights to which I am referring. If you receive a surety or cash bond today, you will be reset to state all purpose, which is a calendar at which we can revisit your bond and perhaps take a plea on June the 1st of 2023. If you receive a signature bond, whether through pretrial or through the jail, you will be reset for the notice to a division judge for further proceedings. All right. Have all members of the Public Defender's Office had the opportunity to interview or speak with their clients?
That's correct, Judge. And I do need a Spanish interpreter for position 11. I just wanted to make sure that someone was coming. I was told that they were.
They are.
They are. All right. I thought we would.
There's also, we don't have a conflict attorney for the last position on the calendar today.
I love Saturdays. They are the absolute best. All right, let's proceed.
That last position said he wants to be done on Monday, so we set him to Monday.
I'm gonna set him a bond today, whether he wants one or not, and reset him to Monday. Okay.
He didn't even want to come to court. Yeah.
How long has he been in? He might need to try to come.
All right. I'll try
Okay.
All right.
Tell him I was gonna give him a bond regardless. He is free to sit there if he would like, but I'm gonna give him a bond anyway if possible.
Okay. Well, in front of you, Your Honor, we have position number 5, Ms. Dominique Doe.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear who that was.
Ms. Dominique Doe, position number 5.
All right, Ms. Dell, your case is 23 CR 003210E. And I'm sorry, Ms. Lewis, as soon as the interpreter comes on the line, will you please let me know? Ms. Doe, in this case, you're charged with harassing communications and criminal trespass with the offense date of July the 11th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Mr. Howard can have her history, please.
Yeah, I just printed it out because it wasn't on the full sheet. She got over 20 arrests.
Oh, I see the interpreter. Hold 1 second. Ms. Holly, have you already interviewed your client? Do you need the use of interpretation to conduct that interview?
I speak Spanish, so I've already spoken with him. I just am not a certified translator, so I need someone on the record.
Understood. All right, as soon as we finish this position, we're going to take the interpretation. All right. I'm sorry, Mr. Howard.
Got 04 ag assault dismissed, 04 harassing phone calls conviction, 2005 false report of a crime harassing phone calls conviction, 06 stalking. Got another 06 arrest simple assault harassing phone calls that was dismissed. 07 criminal damage to property, criminal attempt, false statements or writings conviction. 06 false report of a crime harassing dismissed. 07 financial identity fraud. 07 criminal damage to property, second degree. She got more financial fraud stuff.
Anything in the last 5 years?
I'm getting there. Let's see. No, because she in 2013 she got 5-year prison sentence for identity theft fraud. So.
Okay, understood. Thank you. All right, Mr. Walker, please proceed.
Good morning, Your Honor. For the harassed communications, they will be requesting a $3,000 surety. For the criminal trespass, we will be requesting a $2,000 surety. Of course, we'll be requesting no contact with the victim, whose name is Sonia Lumpkin, and to stay away from the incident location or the victim's address, 1620 Hollywood Road. In this case, the defendant repeatedly called and texted the victim, Sonia Lumpkin. She advised to the law enforcement officer that her and the defendant share a mutual ex and that the defendant has been stalking her ever since. She has taken out a TPO. In addition to the repeated phone calls and text messages from unknown numbers, the defendant did glue the front door lock of the victim's home closed. Nothing further at this time.
You said glued the phone shut?
Front door of her home.
Oh,
So
okay.
the keyhole.
Okay, understood. Thank you. All right, Mr. Howard, please proceed.
Yes, Judge. Ms. Doe is 37 years old. She's been in Georgia her entire life. She grew up down the Tatnall County area, but she's been in the metro Atlanta area for the past 10 years or so. She's gainfully employed as an inventory specialist for Chairman Foods. She's been on that job for 3 years. She does have one minor child that she supports as well. And Judge, she denies these allegations. The alleged victim in this case is presuming that Ms. Doe somehow is involved in this through unknown numbers and things of that nature, but she denies knowing this person or having any contact with her. Judge, given her lack of recent criminal history and nothing to indicate that she's unlikely to return to court, FTAs or probation violations, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond in this case. And she's fine with no contact with whoever this is.
Is Ms. Lumpkin present on this Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing and seeing none, defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count. She is to have no contact with Ms. Lumpkin and must stay away from wherever Ms. Lumpkin works or resides, including 1620 Hollywood Road. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Judge. That'll be 6-1 reset.
Yes, in that case will be reset to state all purpose on June the 1st.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, can we take the interpretation case? Madam Interpreter, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the translation you will make today from Spanish to English, English to Spanish will be accurate and to the best of your skills, knowledge, and ability?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, and if you would please state your name just for the record, Ms. Chancey.
My name is Adriana Chancey, Adriana. Last name Chancey.
All right, and what position is he?
11.
Okay, thank you. Are you Edgar Moran?
¿Es usted Edgar Moran? Yes.
All right, Mr. Moran, your case is 23 CR 003214B.
El número de su caso, señor Morán, es 23CR003214B.
In this case, you're charged with simple battery and family violence.
Y en este caso, usted está acusado por golpes y lesiones simples, violencia familiar,
with the offense date of May the 18th of 2023.
y la fecha del incidente ocurrida el 18 de mayo del 2023.
You have an absolute right to remain silent.
Usted tiene su derecho a guardar silencio.
Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Todo lo que diga puede y va a ser usado en su contra. I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Wood, will you please put whoever that is that says RJ out of the Zoom or mute them, please? Thank you. You have a right to an attorney today.
Usted tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado hoy.
And this proceeding is being conducted over the internet.
Y este proceso está siendo conducido a través de la internet.
That means any member of the public can log on and watch this.
Quiere decir que cualquier miembro del público puede observar esta sesión.
You understand your rights and how I'm conducting this hearing today?
¿Usted entiende sus derechos constitucionales y cómo estoy conduciendo esta sesión hoy? Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
Señor Howard, por favor, ¿me puede dar los antecedentes?
Second arrest, he was arrested back in June by ICE for a person of interest.
Él tiene, este es el segundo arresto. Tuve un arresto de inmigración del 15 de junio por intereses personales.
Okay. All right, Mr. Walker.
Yes,
You're
Your Honor,
welcome.
in this case, the state is requesting a $2,500 surety bond to one count of simple battery family violence.
La fiscalía está pidiendo una fianza bajo garantía de $2,500 por los golpes y lesiones simples y violencia familiar.
No violent contact with the victim, whose name is Evelyn. I will spell her last name, CHABLA-ALARCAN.
Y no tener más contacto violento con la víctima Evelyn Chapla Alarcán.
And stay away from the incident location, 567 Eagle Crest Village Lane in Roswell, Georgia.
y también que se mantenga alejado del lugar con domicilio 567 Eagle Crest Village Lane en Roswell, Georgia.
The victim advised the law enforcement that this was a verbal dispute turned physical where the defendant punched her in the face.
La víctima declaró a los miembros de la fuerza del orden que esta fue una discusión verbal que se convirtió en física, terminando el acusado dándole un puñetazo a la víctima en la cara.
Nothing further.
Nada más.
All right, thank you, Ms. Holly.
Gracias, señor.
Yes, good morning, Judge.
Buenos días, su señoría.
Mr. Moran is 25 years old, and he's originally from Venezuela.
El señor Morán tiene 25 años y es originalmente de Venezuela.
His only prior arrest is a contact with ICE last June. He is currently in the process of applying for asylum.
El arresto último que él obtuvo fue solo por tener contacto con los miembros de inmigración, del Departamento de Inmigración, y él en este momento está procesando su petición de asilo.
He is currently working. He works construction.
Él está trabajando actualmente en la construcción.
We don't have any issues with the no further violent contact or with the stay away order.
Nosotros no nos oponemos a la orden de no tener más contacto violento o mantenerse alejado del dicho domicilio.
But we would request that he be given a signature bond since this is his first arrest that has resulted in charges.
Pero solicitamos que la fianza sea bajo firma, ya que ha sido el primer arresto con, que se convirtió en un arresto con reales cargos.
That's all.
Eso es todo.
All right, I am gonna sound for Ms. Chapla Arkan, if she's present and wishes to make a statement.
Señora Evelyn Chapla Alarcán, ¿está presente en la plataforma de Zoom y quiere hacer alguna declaración? Por favor, prenda su micrófono.
All right, hearing and seeing none, defendant will receive a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services per judge.
Bueno, nadie ha contestado y entonces el acusado recibirá una fianza bajo firma de $2,500 a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
He's to have no contact with the alleged victim.
No debe tener contacto con la víctima alegada
He's to stay away from the incident location.
y debe mantenerse alejado del lugar en donde ocurrió el incidente.
He can return one time with law enforcement to get any items.
Él puede regresar a esa dirección solamente una vez escoltado por un oficial de policía para retirar sus pertenencias personales.
And he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition.
Y queda prohibido el uso de alcohol, drogas y armas como, mientras esté bajo fianza como condición.
Anything further from state or defense?
¿Algo más de la defensa o la fiscalía?
No, thank you, Judge.
No.
Let
Gracias.
them know about the report and pretrial now.
Por favor, avísenle sobre el informe de servicio previo al juicio. Would you like to say it in English?
Mr. Moran,
Señor Morán?
you want me to say it in Spanish or do you want to translate?
Yes, so judge can hear what you
Okay.
say.
Mr. Moran, understand that when you are released, you will not have to pay anything,
Señor Morán, entienda que cuando usted lo pongan en libertad no deberá pagar nada,
but you will have to report with a pretrial officer
pero va a tener que presentarse ante el oficial de los servicios previos al juicio en su oficina.
So it's important that you make sure they have your current contact information
Es importante que usted les dé su información de contacto actualizada
and that you stay in contact with them until your first court date.
y que usted se mantenga en contacto con ellos hasta que llegue su próximo día de comparecencia.
And any court dates after that until your case is closed.
Y toda otra día de comparecencia hasta que su caso se cierre.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I believe that concludes Mr. Moran's case. Best of luck to you, sir.
Aquí termina el caso del señor Morán. Buena suerte.
Ms. Chancey, will you sound and make sure no one else needs your assistance?
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Hay alguien que necesite la ayuda de un intérprete en español para hablar con la señora jueza? Por favor, avise.
All right, hearing
I-
none. Thank you, Ms. Chancey. You can
Thank
be
you. Good
seated.
to see you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Ms. Chancey.
Okay. You're
All right.
welcome, ma'am.
Take care. Have a good day.
You
Who
too.
do we have next?
This is position number 4, Mr. Jop.
Okay, is it Jop or Joe? Mr. Jop, your case is 23 CR 00328081. Your right?
Can you say it again, Your Honor? You froze?
Okay, I don't know what's going on with this. I may have to switch laptops, hopefully.
Just
Can you hear
lean
me
forward.
now?
Yeah, lean forward.
It's the saying connection. It's the computer. Mr. Drop, your case is 23 CR 003208Y. You're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
This is his first arrest, so we'll go to Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor. On the incident date, law enforcement responded to Langston Hughes High School regarding a weapons on the campus call. The defendant was identified and arrested with 2 other defendants. While the defendant did not have a weapon, the 2 other defendants that he was with did have weapons. At the time he was arrested for criminal trespass, the state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond for the criminal trespass. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and to stay away from the incident location, which is Langston Hughes High School, 7510 Hall Road in Fairburn, Georgia.
Okay. Mr. Howard?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Diop is 17 years old. He is a lifelong Georgia resident. On the date of this incident, Judge, he was accompanying a friend of his who is an 11th grader at Langston Hughes High School. However, he had no knowledge of any weapons, and certainly he didn't have any nefarious intent to going up to the school with his friend. I guess I would have hoped, but I guess because they believe guns may have been involved with some of the other people, they arrested him, because I was wondering why they wouldn't just say, hey, you can't be on the campus, and ask him to leave. But he doesn't have a criminal history, Judge. There's nothing to indicate that he was causing any trouble or there to commit any harm or do anything of that nature. It seems like maybe he was just with some people who had were doing things that got him caught up in their web of problems. And Judge, his mother's on the line today, and he's not had any other issues whatsoever. He works at Zaxby's in Fairburn. He's been on that job for about a year, so he's a fairly responsible young man. Judge, we would ask the court to allow him to sign his own bond, either through pretrial or through the jail. His mother is prepared to co-sign if that's needed. So we would ask the court to allow him to sign his own bond.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive $1,000 surety bond. He is to stay away from Langston Hughes High School and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Next, we have position 15, Your Honor, Mr. Youngblood, for the best.
All right. Let's see.
Have a seat.
All right, Mr. Youngblood, your case is 23 CR 003213H. You're charged with theft by taking in criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, and Ms. Yana, I was just wondering, can you put the whole case?
No, don't say anything. Thank you. I just want to make sure you understand your rights. You do?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Howard, please proceed.
It's a lot. I'm just gonna read the bond assessment to you.
Okay,
Yeah. Last arrest was back in September. Shoplifting, obstruction, simple assault, giving false name. Got open terrorist threats, fair evasion, trespass, 22 CP 210270. The ag assault and simple assault was out of Philly, recklessly endangering, resisting arrest. Got a trespass, criminal mischief, institutional vandalism, terroristic threats, resisting arrest. I got escape. What else?
Okay, I think that's okay. Thank you. Mr. Walker, if you would proceed, please.
Yes, good afternoon,
Oh,
Judge.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bickerstaff, please
It's
proceed.
okay. Yeah, so this incident occurred on May 18th at the MARTA station at 30 Alabama Street. And this is while the defendant was on the train. The defendant asked out loud, did anyone have any money? He looked around and he took Mr. Reland Spotville's iPhone, and then he ran off the train. The defendant then sold that iPhone to another defendant who's position number 9 on the calendar for $1. The defendant did admit to officers that he did take the phone. He stated specifically like, yes, I took the phone. I needed money. I'm homeless. And the defendant also has an active suspension at that MARTA location, which is due to expire 7/8 of this year. Because of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $2,000 for the theft by taking, $1,000 for the criminal trespass, no further contact with Mr. Spotville, and then to stay away from the MARTA location, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
And you said he does have an active suspension?
Yes, it's due to expire July 8th.
Okay, so, and is this a case where we needed a conflict attorney? Are we aware?
Yes, ma'am. This is
That's
the
correct.
one. This is the one.
Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is defendant is going to receive, let me see, there's 2 counts. We are gonna reset him to Monday anyway. And what's gonna happen is I've listened to your history. I've heard the state's recommendation. I'm gonna reset your case to Monday in the hopes that a conflict attorney can appear. And for now, you will receive a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count. And you are to stay away from MARTA, have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. Actually, I'm gonna make it, I apologize, $1,500, $1,000 on theft by taking, and $500 on the criminal trespass. Additionally, he's to stay away from all MARTA and comply with that active suspension. Okay, and you'll be reset to Monday's calendar in the hopes that an attorney can appear to assist you. Okay,
Peace and blessings.
all right, take care.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 12, Mr. Ram Loching.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 003211G. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Fourth arrest, 2021 fleeing in office, 2017 probation, and 2014 carrying a weapon within a school safety zone and possession of marijuana.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred October 14th, 2022. This is where officers arrived and they spoke with Miss Michelle Badia. She advised that the defendant had grabbed her and squeezed her neck, cutting off her airway. Officers observed bruising and abrasions on her lower and upper neck, her left knee, and both arms. We were unable to make contact with Miss Badia, but for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Miss Badia, that's BADIA, and to stay away from the incident location, which is 1135 Woodland. Hold on, I'll come back to that. And then no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, is Ms. Badia present on this Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing and seeing none, Ms. Holly.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Mluchin is 27 years old. He is currently an asphalt tech at Yard Snell, so he does have a good job that we would like to get him out and get him back to. We would just ask the court consider, his history is fairly old aside from the one arrest in 2021. We would ask that the court consider a signature bond for him so that he can return to work. Of course, we don't have any problems with no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we don't have any issues with the stay away or the no further contact.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the incident location. He can return one time with law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything further?
May I ask a question, Your Honor?
I think the best thing for you to do is to speak to Ms. Holly,
Oh, okay. Miss
because I don't want you to say anything that could be used against you by the state.
We're on Zoom right now, Mr. Lumluchan, but you can give me a call. Usually they have a chance for you to give me a call after this hearing's over, okay?
Okay, it was just a question about the bond. It was nothing about like the case or anything. It's
Okay,
just-
very quickly, what's your bond question?
What is 1,500 a sure, what does that mean exactly?
Surety
Okay,
bond.
Ms. Holly will explain that to you.
Yeah,
okay?
so it's a $1,500 surety bond. A surety bond means that it's a good bond, so you can go through a bonding company. So if you have someone who can go through a bonding company to pay that bond to bond you out, then that bond would be set and you would be released on this charge.
Okay. Okay,
All right.
I just needed some understanding. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck. Let's move to the next position, please.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 1, Mr. Benton.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Benton. Your case is 23 CR 00320 You're charged with battery. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Walker will go to you as it's his first arrest.
Yes, Your Honor, the state is requesting a $2,500 surety bond and a stay away from the incident location, 562 Magnolia Street, no further contact with the victim, Delexia Benton. In this case, it was a verbal altercation between the victim and the defendant. They are brother and sisters. It was a verbal altercation that turned physical, where the defendant slapped the victim, who is the sister, in the mouth, which resulted in a busted lip.
Okay. And is he alleged to live at that location or no?
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And does the public defender's office represent him, Mr. Howard?
We do, Judge. I do believe, I don't know if his sisters, I believe she's.
Oh, let's sound for her. Is Miss Alexia Benton on the line? Do you wish to make, if you wish to make a statement, I need you to raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court? What I'm most concerned with is whether you wish to have contact with your brother. We're not going to sentence him to anything today, so the facts are not as important as your desire for contact with him. What would you like to tell me at this time?
I would want contact with him, and I'm not afraid of Kelton. I'm okay with living with Kelton. I want Kelton to come back home, and I also was trying to get this charges dropped, but I couldn't get them dropped because the state picked up the case.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Mr. Howard, please proceed.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Benton is 20 years old. He is a lifelong Georgia resident. He graduated from Maynard Jackson High School right here in the Metro Atlanta area. Judge, he is active duty military. He just graduated from Airman School just a few days ago, I believe. And actually, showing his responsibility, his superiors actually discouraged him from coming and handling this right now. However, he wanted to resolve this because he is due to be deployed to his assignment on Monday. They're leaving on Monday, and they told him if he was not there, then obviously he would be AWOL. But in spite of that, his mother brought him here. He turned himself in on the warrant. And I know this is an allegation from almost a year ago, Judge, from July of 2022. And from hearing from his sister, clearly there haven't been any issues or concerns since that time. In light of her testimony, Judge, we would ask for no violent contact and that there be no stay away order. He actually lives at a different address, which I provided to Ms. Lewis in the chat. But we would like him to be able to have free access to his parents' home to see his sister if they so desire. So, Judge, we'd ask for a signature bond through the jail in this instance, given that he is going to be deployed. We'd ask for a signature bond through the jail, Judge.
Okay. All right, at this time, the defendant will receive a $6,000 SOB through the jail. He used to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. And I'm not gonna, I guess in light of his active duty status, I can't say no weapons, but no weapons outside of his military duties at this time. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. All right, who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 2, Mr. Anthony Bowers.
All right, Mr. Bowers, your case is 23 CR 003205A. You're charged with battery. You understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard?
9 total. Last arrest was in January, 2 counts for trespass. Criminal damage to property. Appeared to have an open burglary out of Michigan. 2018 trespass dismissed. 2016 DUI, driving on the wrong side of the road, and illegal ammunition. And a 2014 assault and battery conviction. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, the state is requesting a $2,500 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, whose name is Richard Thompson, and to stay away from the incident location, which is the Gateway Center located at 275 Prior Street. Law enforcement responded to a fight call at that location. It was advised to the law enforcement officer investigating the case that the defendant was acting erratic and attempting to fight, and actually made contact with another person at the Gateway Center, whose name is Richard Thompson. He did punch Mr. Thompson in the mouth and knocked his false teeth out of his mouth, and also broke his false teeth. So we are asking for that $2,500 surety, a stay away, and no further contact with the victim.
Okay, and is Mr. Thompson on the line by any chance?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either. All right, Mr. Howard, please proceed.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Bowers is 34 years old. He has been here in the Metro Atlanta area for about 1.5 years. Prior to that, he did live in Michigan. Judge, as far as his criminal history, I didn't hear any really recent convictions. I did hear of open cases, which of course we know he's presumed innocent as it relates to those. Judge, he denies the allegations in this case. There's more to the story from what I'm hearing, Judge, but we would ask the court to take that into account and consider a signature bond in this case. He's currently not working, so he doesn't have the income to be able to post a bond. So he'd like the court to consider him for a signature bond.
All right, defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Mr. Thompson and stay away from that Gateway Center. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And as a reminder, he will be reset to state off purpose on, June the 1st.
Thank you,
All
Judge.
right, sir. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
What was that bond amount? I'm sorry.
2,000.
Thank you. Next, we have position number 6, Mr. Luna Chair.
Okay. All right, so your case is 23 CR 003209J. In this case, you're charged with battery. Do you understand your rights? Yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Howard?
This is 9th arrest. Last was 2021 failure to appear on probation, possession of a vehicle with altered VIN, theft by receiving felony, 21 SC 178006. They gave him 3 years probation for that in 2022. I didn't see any violence in the history.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $3,500 surety. Law enforcement arrived at 3372 Peachtree Road. They spoke with the victim, whose name is Shadia Ball, who I believe is on the line. She advised that the child of her father, who's the defendant, she was in a verbal altercation with him that turned physical. He did grab her by her arms and drag her across the floor. The officer did observe a visible injury or a small laceration on the victim's knees. So we are asking for no further contact with Ms. Ball and to stay away from that incident location. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Nothing further from the state.
Okay, Ms. Ball, if you'd like to make a statement, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. Again, I'm not imposing any sentences today. The facts are not critically important. What is important is your desire or your wishes about contact and whether you have any fear of the defendant. In light of those questions, what would you like to tell me?
So we do have a child together. My child has a graduation this Tuesday, and I don't mind staying apart from the father of my son, outside of pickup and drop off when we schedule to see one another.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Ilyunchi is 47 years old. He has been living here in the metro Atlanta area for the past 14 years. He is a businessman. He's self-employed. He owns a gas station in Utah, Alabama. So he clearly won't qualify for our services after today. Judge, I'll just suffice it to say there's a dispute in the allegations and he denies those. They do have a child that they co-parent and he'd like to be able to remain active in that child's life. So we would ask that there be allowed to be contact for purposes of exchanging the child. Judge, given he has no history of violence and no done appearing failure to appears or anything to indicate he would not return to court, we'd ask the court to consider a signature bond in this case.
All right. Defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no further violent contact with the victim. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. And to you, ma'am, as well. All right. Who do we have
Thank you
next?
so much.
Next, we have position number 7, Mr. Julian Gunn.
All right, Mr. Gunn, your case is 23 CR 003212E. You're charged with criminal trespass and damage to property with the offense date of April the 8th. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please proceed.
Fifth arrest, 2016 was the last probation. He had an obstruction fleeing conviction. 2013 probation and 2012 shoplifting conviction. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, the state is requesting a $3,000 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location, 2565 Lantern Lane in South Fulton, Georgia. In this case, Your Honor, the defendant is the ex-boyfriend of the victim. She advised the law enforcement officers that the defendant did come to her home while she was not there. He came through her bedroom window and he did trash or ransack her bedroom window and leave the location. She did show text messages to the officer from the defendant admitting to the acts. We are requesting a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, whose name is Crystal Drummond. Also, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, nothing further. And I'm sorry, I did omit that the victim did advise that there were previous incidents of violence between her and the defendant, and that is why she moved to this apartment that she is currently staying at.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna sound for her. I'm sorry, it was Crystal
Drummond.
Ms. Drummond. I don't believe I see or hear Ms. Drummond, but I still sound. Ms. Drummond, if you're present and would like to make a statement, please turn on your camera. All right, hearing and seeing none, Ms. Holly, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gunn is 29 years old. He does currently work as a forklift driver at Staff Mart, but he actually has an interview coming up on Tuesday with Delta. And so we would like for him to be able to get out and go to that interview for a better job. This incident date, it does go back. Mr. Gunn was not aware that there was a warrant out for his arrest. He obviously wants to get this handled. We don't have any issues with the stay away order. I do believe that the complaining witness and Mr. Gunn are now on good terms. So we would ask for no further violent contact. Additionally, we don't have any issues with the no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. He hasn't had any criminal incidents since a probation violation in 2016. So we're almost 7 years out. So Mr. Gunn is not someone who normally gets in trouble, and we would ask for a signature bond to be set.
All right, defendant will receive a $1,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that incident location. Additionally, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further? All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Gunn. Who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 8, Mr. T. Anthony Hancock.
All right, Mr. Hancock, your case is 23 CR 003200J. In this case, you're charged with theft of service and obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah. No, yes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. All right, Mr. Walker, I'm sorry, Mr. Howard, please proceed. Oh, this is first arrest. I apologize. So, we'll go straight to the state. Ms. Bickerstaff, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident happened yesterday at Dakota Blue That's located at 454 Cherokee Avenue. And this is where the defendant went inside and consumed food and beverages without paying for it. His tab came up to $15.25. Officers later observed him on a basketball court nearby. They tried to initiate contact with him. He started to walk away, and then he started to run away from officers, but officers were able to arrest him. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count, to stay away from Dakota Blue, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, Ms. Holly.
Thank you. Mr. Hancock is 22 years old. He does live with his parents. I've spoken with his father, Tracy. He does live with them. And the total amount for the nachos that were not paid for, I believe, was $15.25. This is a first arrest. He has no other criminal history. We would request a signature bond considering the low amount that was taken, as well as the fact that it's his first arrest.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a split bond. On count one, it's gonna be a $15.25 cash only bond. And on count two, he'll receive a signature bond through the jail. Is there anything further? Uh-oh, did I freeze?
What was that amount again? 15?
Yeah, what was the amount? Okay, I thought I froze for a second. I was frozen for a moment. It'll be $15.25 cash only on count one. And it is a willful obstruction. On the willful obstruction, it's $1,000 SOB through the jail. And he is to stay away from that location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything further?
Same.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 13, Mr. Derek Richmond.
Your Honor, I would like to request a breakout room on this position 13 as well as position 10.
All right, can we take the breakouts last? Can we please go to another position?
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any, as a state requesting breakouts for any position?
There's a few waivers we have, Your Honor.
Okay, understood.
This is going to be position 14, Mr. Alexander Williams.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Williams. Let's read you your case. Your case is 23 CR 003205F. You're charged with being a pedestrian under the influence of alcohol, willful obstruction, and being in a roadway with the offense date of May the 19th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Howard?
34. Last arrest was back in July for ag assault and battery DV. 2021 trespass, 2020 probation. Got a couple of probations from 2014, 15, and 12. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident happened yesterday, and this is where officers were called due to public intoxication. The defendant was under the influence of vodka. Officers observed the defendant walking in the public roadway of Atlanta Street in Roswell. Several officers told him to stay clear of the roadway, but he continued to walk in the roadway. So officers arrested him. While being arrested, the defendant refused to give officers his name, and while being fingerprinted, he refused to unclench his fist so he could properly be fingerprinted. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $2,000 for the pedestrian under influence, and $500 for the other two charges, as well as an ADET and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bickerstaff. Ms. Holly?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Williams is 42 years old. He is not currently working, so we would ask that the court consider that he cannot currently pay any type of bond. I would ask that if the court is inclined to give him a $500 surety bond on the obstruction, that they do give him a signature bond on the pedestrian and roadway and pedestrian under the influence, as I find those to be less serious charges. Thank you.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $1,000 total surety bond. That'll be $500 on the obstruction and $250 on each of the remaining charges to reach the total of the $1,000. Additionally, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. and he will be reset to state all-purpose on the 1st of June. All right, best of luck to you, sir. At this time, that concludes your hearing. What do we have next?
So we have, Your Honor, we have 2 waivers, and I believe Ms. Holly, reset.
Wants the breakout for one. So we're going into the breakout for position 10, I believe. You asked, Ms. Holly?
10 and 13.
All right, 10 and 13.
And we're gonna address
And,
position 3 as well while we're in there, Judge.
All right.
Mm.
All right. Before we go into the breakout, Mr. Howard, will you give us, position 10 is first arrest. Will you give us the history for position 13?
Actually, Your Honor, the state's gonna nullify that one.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
position 13 is an off price.
Thank you.
All right, so
Can we apply what happened with position 3?
Yes,
I
position,
think that's gonna be a waiver. Is that what it
Yes.
was told?
yes, yes.
Do we-
But we can discuss it in the breakout. Mr. Walker. and I
Okay,
discussed
3
it.
as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All
also
right.
position number 9, he waived.
Okay. So we're gonna return for position 10 and then courtroom 2 will be excused. So just hold one moment. If we could go into the breakout, Ms. Grace, I believe it will be Ms. Holly, myself, Mr. Howard, Ms. Bickerstaff, and Mr. Walker.
Okay, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Lewis.
Ms.
Wrong
Lewis.
Wrong
Thank
day.
you, Lewis.
Hi.
right, is courtroom 2 still on the line? And I believe position 10 was there. Appearance was not waived, is that correct?
Position 10?
No?
No, she's not here.
She waived her
did-
appearance?
She did not waive.
She did not waive. Where is position 10? Ms.
She's
Lott?
at- She was in isolation in intake, Your Honor. That's why I didn't want to bring her out. Earlier, she was kind of unruly to all the officers back there.
Okay.
Do I need to go get her? Because I'm gonna have to have
I'm-
officers
I'm-
go get her.
Unfortunately, I believe so, if her appearance has not been properly waived.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's take the waived appearance case. Based on the information before me in the case of 23 CR 003206F. The case of Rico Brown. Mr. Howard, very briefly, Mr. Tucson Howard, will you just put that history onto the record for position 3?
Yeah, 35 total. Last arrest was last month for trespass.
Okay.
He got open cases, so.
That's sufficient. At this time, defendant will receive a $3,000 SOB through the jail. He must stay away from the Starbucks location as alleged in the warrant. And additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. There was no victim, I'm making sure. All right, so that will be the ruling for position 3. Hopefully we can obtain position 10, and position 13 is now a no prize.
I also had a waiver on position 9.
All right, let's do that one then.
Wait.
Mr. Howard, if you would give us the history for position 9.
30 total. Last arrest was last month out of the cab. Failed to appear. Got an open shoplifting and trespass in the cab.
That's sufficient. That's
Okay.
good. That's good. This is a young man who was alleged to have received the phone that was sold for $1.
That's correct.
Correct, Ms. Bickerstaff. In addition to that, as you know, as I understand the facts, is there anything else the state would like to add in addition to the amount requested for bond?
No, the state's recommendation for bond is a $500 surety bond and a stay away from 30 Alabama Street, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
Okay, Ms. Holly?
And Judge, Mr. Jones, as stated, this was a situation that kind of came through homelessness. I believe it was said that he paid $1 phone is the allegation. So we would ask that that $500 be converted into a signature bond so that he can be released.
All right, defendant will receive $1,000 SOB through the jail, and he is to stay away from that location. All right. All right. I really hope that we can get position 10.
I would have waived her presence, but she specifically said she wanted to be present.
Understood.
In the meantime, we can hit this calendar.
I was hoping, Mr. Howard, let's hope 1 second. I was believing that they were gonna walk right through the door.
No, he said gonna take 2 of them to get her.
All right, Mr. Howard, out of all prudence for judicial economy and efficiency, Ms. Lewis, will you please review the calendar?
No, it will be Miss Grace. I would just want to make
Oh,
sure that they send
okay,
it
Miss
across to Miss Grace and not to me. If they send it to me, that's fine, but I just want to make sure Miss Grace get it too. The
That's
null process that you're gonna send?
Send it to Ms. Grace as well.
Yes, please.
Yes,
All right,
and
Ms. Grace, if you would review the calendar for us.
yes, Judge, I need the bond amount for position number 10.
We haven't done 10 yet.
Okay, yeah, that's Ms. Lott who we're waiting on. Okay, position number 1, 6,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is a $2,000 good bond. Position number 3 is a 3,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 4 is a $1,000 good bond. Position number 5 is a $2,000 good bond. Position number 6 is a $2,000 good bond. Position number 7 is a $1,000 good bond. Position number 8 is a $1,015.25 split bond. Position number 9 is a $1,000 SOB through the jail. We are holding on 10. Position number 11 is a $2,500 pretrial per judge. Position number 12 is a $1,500 good bond. Position number 13 was a non-pros. Position number 14 is a $1,000 good bond. Position number 15 is a $1,500 good bond. Any
Okay.
questions, concerns?
Quick question for position 14, the conditions with the $1,000 surety bond, I just didn't get those.
I have no alcohol, drugs, and weapons as the only condition. on
Okay,
15.
that's it. All
I
right.
think so. That's all I wrote down.
That's the only thing.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Please remember the SAP date is June the 1st, and those who receive good bonds, and those who did not receive good bonds, those will be released on SOBs and pretrial or SODs to the jail. There are set further notice. Just clarification.
Is, Holly, is, lot MH?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps.
I would say she definitely has some image issues, but just I can't speak to the degree without like meeting someone in person. Unless they're, I mean, obviously there's a certain point, but
Well, Judge, you almost made the 3 o'clock mark. We were rolling.
We still
Well,
got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
we're still doing extremely well for
Yeah, we
15
are.
positions
Yeah.
and Spanish interpretation.
Yes.
Extremely well.
Mm.
All right, we will be on a very, very brief recess.
Your Honor, we're ready.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Lot. Your case is 23 CR 003202G. In this case, you're charged with simple battery in a public transit station or vehicle with the offense date of May the 19th. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. This particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can watch it. Do you understand the rights as I just explained them to you? You do?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff, if you put the state's recommendation onto the record, I'm aware of the facts.
Yes, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. Jeremy Dix, DIX, and to stay away from all MARTA stations as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay, I'm sounding now for Mr. Dix. Hearing and seeing none, Ms. Holly.
Yes, Judge, we are just asking for Ms. Lott to be given a signature bond. She is 32 years old and this is her first arrest. And this is a simple battery in public transport. The allegation is that we would argue that she has a self-defense argument later down the road, but for now, we would just ask that the court consider a signature bond. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. She's to take the 1-day anger awareness course. Additionally, she's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from all MARTA as a condition. She is also to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our entire calendar. We will be in recess until Monday's SCA calendar. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye.
You have a good
Okay.
afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you all. Have a good weekend.